and on through the police state updates, secret rooms, secret files. Homegrown terrorist threat to be part of national security strategy. This coming from CNN. Homegrown terrorism will be part of the United States national security strategy for the first time, according to Obama's chief counter-terror advisor, who called it a new phase of the terror threat. When the Obama administration unveiled its national security strategy yesterday, Thursday, March 27, 2010, it was the first time any president explicitly recognized the threat to the United States posed by individuals radicalized here at home, so said National Security Advisor John Brennan. The strategy acts as a blueprint for how a White House administration intends to protect Americans. In the past, it's focused mostly on international threats, but a spate of terror-related plots in the United States recently prompted the Obama administration to include homegrown terrorism in the document. We've called all of this in advance so many times, and they even just said it, because in previous years it seems like it was more of an international thing. Because as we've told you time and time again, even pre-Obama, just dig back into the archives of MediaMonarchy.com, that when the Republicans are in, fake conservatives, the enemy's somewhere overseas. And when the phony progressives come in, the enemy is here. I'm not that old. I'm going to be 33 in a couple months, and I've now seen enough supposed party shifts to see how it's gone through the Bush, Clinton, Bush, Obama years. As it all collapses, a lot of people are, probably going to get pissed at losing everything through no fault of their own. They're prepping the military, and they're prepping all of us to think that everything is going to be terrorism. And this is all surrounding the recent spate is, of course, the Times Square time bomb and the underpants bomber, and even Fort Hood, and all of these other highly suspicious events that are currently being dusted for the fingerprints of intelligence agencies, which are already seen there. But again, from CNN, document says number of attempted attacks on U.S. is at an all-time high. Be afraid. Be very afraid. But they're already laying the groundwork. They're already desensitizing the military to pulling off terror drills, desensitizing the population to seeing the military on the streets, which sets us up for the latest update on the coming Toronto G20 police state crackdown. The latest article from Dana Gabriel on Be Your Own Leader. It appears as if the G20 summit in Toronto is shaping up to be a showdown between anarchists and police. Caught in the middle of the security circus are local residents. If there is violence and property damage, peaceful protesters will also be demonized. The recent bombing of a bank perpetrated by so-called anarchist group is given an excuse to enact more police state measures during the summit. The curious timing of the attack emphasizes the threat of terrorism and further justifies the huge security apparatus being assembled. We have gone over, time and time again, provocateur events. Maybe sometimes that terrorist doesn't really know where his orders and funding are coming from, regardless of which side of the pond these pawns are. But jumping down, the G20 Integrated Security Unit continues to monitor any potential threats. Police now asking truck drivers and carriers to act as lookouts before and during the G8, G20 summits. And of course, this means look out for anything suspicious. And when you tell everybody to look for suspicious stuff, you're going to find it. Terror drills, military war games, exercise, amalgam, Virgo, so much more on the coming G20 crackdown in Toronto. And as if that wasn't enough, from citytv.com, Toronto gets 4 sound cannons for G20. Again, all these weapons, they said, they're just for the terrorists. We're only going to use them in Iraq and Afghanistan and whatever else our war of aggression clash of civilizations takes us to. But as we see, they started out being about one group, and they wheel it around, and it's for us, and it's for everybody. Canada says, by way of the Associated Press, the $1 billion spent on the summit and its security will be well worth it. Because if you can just spend the right amount of money, you can keep everybody safe all the time. That's the magical hocus-pocus illusion. DARPA CAM spots the non-cooperative, that's from Danger Room. Federal Protective Service Chief gets a new job at the Department of Homeland Stupidity. More on that from the CIA's favorite newspaper. And from the Air Force themselves, National Guard leaders observe Israel's nationwide exercise. There are terror drills and military exercises going on concurrently all around the world as we speak, serving the multiple purposes as we already discussed. The desensitization for all involved in the theaters of operation. You wonder why they call it theater. You just got to think about the words sometimes. But in these events, that's when false flag, catalyzing events, war, provocateuring events can happen. And that's why we try and cover and discuss a lot of these terror drills. And to see National Guard guys going to see how it's really done in Israel as they run their terror drills, we've heard time and time again, let's have more of an Israeli model with our border. Let's have more, or not with our border, sorry, with our airport security. U.S., or rather UK, U.S. real, UK, Europe junior, it's all the same. UK cops keep secret files on 19,000 protesters. That's from Daily Mail. And just a little quick update flashback to the Times Square time bomb story from allgov.com. Who first called attention to the Times Square time bomb? It was a Muslim. LVRJ.com gets into the TSA's mini watch list. That's right. There's multiple watch lists that all work really well, selectively enforced. But sometimes, when well-meaning people at intelligence agencies say, hey, we probably shouldn't give this guy a visa. It says he's a terrorist. And he's told from higher-ups, we know. The terror designation is just his cover. This even reminds me of the recent stories about secret codes on police tickets and judge orders. 16 terror suspects slipped through airport security in U.S. I believe this was a drill. More on that from AllGov. Private corporation building detention camps across America. This is an update on what we may have remembered as American police force. If you'll recall the amazing story last summer of the private military industrial complex contractors trying to set up prisons or take over empty prisons in town. Hey, why are these prisons all empty? We need to fill them up with terrorists. It all ties in to everything being connected and militarized and prepping for something. They're sure acting like something really bad is coming down the pike. But on a good note, from Dot Connector UK, new UK government to curb CCTV, scrap ID cards, and help open source. We can only hope that that would be the truth.